Do we still have to stay quiet?
Yeah. But you haven't, so it doesn't matter. So we're live. Everybody, welcome to the Fatback 4. Matt can't keep his fucking mouth shut for more than 25 seconds. Liverpool are 4 from 4, lads. We're doing good. With me tonight, Marty, Grizz, and mouth fucking peace. Something else to say there, Matt? No?
Nope.
No, you're good. Okay, great. There you go. Matt, I'll come to you first. Liverpool are 4 from 4. We didn't play well. We're probably I still don't think we're out of second gear. I think it's great. What do you think? And welcome back, by the way.
Thank you very much. Good to be back. To be honest, I didn't even think we played too badly. I mean, we didn't play to our usual standard, but that standard is so high now, we're not going to be able to achieve that week in, week out. We played a very methodical, tactical game against a team who packs the midfield. They have a lot of energy. It was always going to be tough. We know Leicester away is tough anyway, so just getting over the line and getting the 3 points is good for me. It wasn't as if they were tearing us open. Whenever we play badly this season and last season, we never get torn open. It's always just been keeper mistakes or defending errors which have cost us. But luckily we spent a lot of money on a keeper and we've got rid of them from our game.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you alright, man?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. Are you still in holiday mode? Because you've been on holiday for about 11 weeks.
6.
Okay, I'll go 9. Are we gonna keep going till we reach it?
All right, we'll settle at 9.
Okay. 9 weeks. The picture you seen at the start of the pod, the Grand Theft Auto style thing. That's actually really Matt on a boat. He sent us about 27 different variations of it, and then picked his favourite. Marty, I'll come to you. There's a lot of Liverpool
fans. Off 2 seconds. 2 seconds after that picture was taken, he fell off.
Yeah, he had to be rescued by the Coast Guard.
A lot of people don't know that.
All right, Grace,
you would have capsized the fucker.
Come here, Marty. I'll come to you next. Despite the win yesterday, there was a lot of Liverpool fans that weren't too happy with the performance, and I even seen a few shouting, "Oh, we'll never win anything with this team." Did you see how we reacted in the second half and all sorts of stuff like that? You have to be happy, don't you, with 12 points out of 12, not being at your best, and you have an international break now for the players. All right, they're away on international duty, a lot of them, but it's another chance for Klopp to get the players that aren't, get them in there, and work on a few things. Fitness comes back up again, and we're ready to go for the next block of games.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing's given now. If you're going to be on Twitter and you're a Liverpool fan, you're going to have to accept the fact that there's a group of gobshites that just go around moaning about anything, absolutely anything. I'll be delighted. I'll be honest, I was delighted yesterday. I thought we were, like Matt said, I don't think we were terrible, but, our end product yesterday I thought was quite poor. I thought some of the decision making, I thought we could have killed that game off a lot earlier. They didn't really create anything, did they? I think one chance I can recall was one from a corner where Wes Morgan might have done better, but their goal was a mistake. And I just think with some of the people that are moaning, Liverpool can't really win. Last season it was, we're playing brilliant football, but we're not getting the results. We can't, get past a team with 10 men behind the ball, etc., etc. And I think we've showed so far already, just in these 4 games that we're not even at our first gear. We're in neutral at the moment. We're not playing anywhere near our top game. We're averaging more than 2 goals a game at the minute. It's just, I'm delighted. I think we're showing, that we've already rectified the problems that we had last season about not being able to see out, the results. We can be defensively sound. We score when we need to. I'm delighted. And I think, like I said, you're just going to get these group of gobshites that will moan about anything. So just, let them sit in their mum's basement, on their own, and we'll carry on celebrating.
Would you agree with me that most of them that sit in their basements eat Doritos?
Yeah, 100%.
Dust everywhere, would you say? Dorito dust everywhere?
Yeah, cheesy fingers.
Oh God, Joe, he's going to fit right in, isn't he? Grizz, come to you. you know, you had a lot to say on this game afterwards. I seen you doing a Q&A afterwards, where you had to write stuff down and post it off to people, and you done really well. I actually enjoyed that piece with I think it was the Cop Table. Was it with the Cop Table you done it?
Yeah, that's right. I think it's the Anfield Network.
Yeah.
Part of the Cop Table. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
Good set, lads.
Yeah, absolutely. But you had a lot to say after. But just your overall feeling before we get into the game and stuff like that on the game overall. Are you in agreement with most of the lads? We didn't really play well. We get the win. We walk away from it, and we're now one of, would it be 2 teams to only have full points, ourselves and Chelsea, after today's results? Chris?
You killed him.
He's dead, is he?
Someone wind him back up.
Chris, are you dead? No, he's not there. Leave him. Just leave him there. Don't worry about it. Matt, let's start. Let's have a look at the game from the beginning, and we'll take it in blocks. We take it in blocks from the beginning. The first 15, I thought we were brilliant. I thought we looked like we were going to run all over them, and we missed a couple of chances. But we are happy the way we started, the intensity we started at, and we more or less told Leicester, no, we're going to boss this. We're going to show you how it's done, and it was great to capitalise on it at the same time.
Yeah, we came up the blocks pretty quick. I thought the first 15, 25 minutes was some of the best we've played this season. It was just a few little poor finishes, but that's what the start of the season's for. We've had the World Cup. I know other people have as well, but we've had a World Cup, and some people are still a bit rusty, and that will happen. Last season was grueling, so it's going to take a while to get back to where we were. But yeah, I was made up with the way we came out. And after getting that second goal, we probably did subconsciously turn off a little bit and take it down to second gear. And without that stupid error by the keeper, that was a very, very professional performance. We had spells when we were very good. We got 2 goals. We didn't look like we were conceding. And yeah, it was a professional performance. I was made up of it. I've got absolutely no qualms with it. Henderson's first game back, I know people were moaning he didn't play too well. He was all right. I mean, people they either love him or hate him. There's no middle ground, but I think he was just down the middle. I'd give him a 6, 6.5, something like that. But you got to remember, it's his first game back as well. So if anyone else's first game back, would give them the luxury of a few games to get used to it. I'm not his biggest fan. I'm not too bothered if he's in the team or not, but I'm not going to give him criticism where it's not deserved. I thought he's just done okay, and we've still got Fabinho, Kaiser sitting on the bench, so it's absolutely nothing for us to worry about. If we didn't have anyone on the bench, then people might be fair enough in having a little moan, but we've got loads of options now. So just we won the game. Just let's see how it plays out. Klopp's obviously doing it for a reason. He's managing the squad because we've got a squad to manage now. So let's just get on with it. We took the points. We got 4 from 4, top of the league. I'm loving it. I'm loving the season. Can't wait to win the Premiership.
Yeah, either can I. Matt, you have a beautiful head. You have a beautiful face. So if you want to lift our camera up a slight bit or sit back a slight bit, and then we can see it in all your glory. There you go. Look at that. Did you get your teeth whitened? Did you?
Nah, not yet.
For
the wedding. Get it for the wedding.
Get it for the wedding. Grace, I'm going to come back to you and give you one more attempt at answering the question, and then if you don't, go in and rob your internet from your Irish neighbours to improve this. I'm going to have to get rid of you.
Can
Grace,
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah. But you look like you're on drugs. Like you're in slow motion. It's mental.
I had a haircut.
No, that's not what... You look like you're on drugs. You look like you're on drugs there, mate. Yeah, I think... Listen, I better grow my hair. This is outrageous. Grace, how did you feel about the game yesterday? Let's go back a slight bit. How did you feel about the game overall yesterday? Not playing the best, getting... we're 12 from 12, all that sort of stuff. And, Ray Dickinson has told me that Watford also have full points. Of course they do. They beat Spurs today. That was my mistake. Chris, overall opinion on the game before we get into it. Matt has already got into it, but I'll walk around that. Come on.
Gav, over the moon, chuffed to bits. Results wise, it's the perfect scenario. It's what we aimed for, wanted. Going into the international break, 12 points out of 12. The performances, I'd give about 6 out of 10 overall. We know the performances can be better, will get better. I'm absolutely chuffed to bits with the Leicester away win. I thought it would be our sternest test, and so it turned out to be. I don't think many teams will go there and get 3 points easily. Puel's doing a decent job there. They've actually tried to play quite a bit of football. Yeah, perfect scenario going into the international break. All the players settling in, finding their rhythm. Our front boys not even playing at 70% yet. And yet, as Marty said, is it 2 games we're averaging? 2 goals a game we're averaging?
Just over, yeah.
Just over, yeah.
Just over 2 goals. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Alisson showing he's human and making an error, we'd have 4 clean sheets as well. So all good.
Good. Great. Yeah, so you're happy enough. Right. Marty, I'll come to you next. Matt's gone on about the first 15 minutes and how we're on top and stuff like that. Just the little thing about Salah. We'll go through the game as we go on a bit more, but is that chance just a missed chance where he tries to give the keeper the eyes and is slightly askew? Or do you make more out of it and you think, all this stuff with the Egyptian FA is in his head, a clear-minded Salah just dispatches that? What were you thinking when he misses that chance?
I put a tweet up yesterday and just said, but I was a little bit concerned with his performances. Nothing major. He's still creating chances. He scored a couple this season. With that particular chance, I think we know what you get with Mo Salah. He scores a lot of goals, but he does miss some sitters. We saw it last season when we played Stoke at home. He was banging the goals, towards the end of the season, and he missed that sitter when he was 1-on-1. He does miss chances. It's part of his game, but he scores a lot. So I'm not too bothered about that particular chance. I still think he's going to miss some, and he's going to score a lot. I think it's just his overall play the past couple of games. I don't know if it's just it's the 4th game of the season. Like Matt said, players are rusty. They're coming back. Let's be honest. He had a shite summer. Back end of the season, the Champions League final. He obviously the stuff started with the Egyptian FA just before the World Cup. The World Cup, Egypt were poor. He missed most of the games. And he's come back now, and he's probably still trying to clear his head. And it's clear, obviously, this stuff with the Egyptian FA is getting quite serious. Obviously, people that have got his agent around me on Twitter will see that it's not looking like it's blown over anytime soon. And they're asking, I think it's FIFA to intervene. So it's clearly quite serious. And the lad's human, so it wouldn't surprise me if this is playing on his mind. But he'll get over it. They'll sort it out. They always will. And I'm sure he'll get back to banging in goals. But he didn't quite look himself yesterday. I think some of his decision making for a couple of breakaways weren't brilliant. He picked the wrong pass. He missed that opportunity. But he'll get there. He's a great player, wonderful guy. He'll get his head sorted soon, and he'll be bang up there with the top scorers again soon as possible. I'm sure of it.
Billy Davis says nothing wrong with Salah's form. He's always missed loads of chances. Yeah, you're right, Billy. And at the start of last season, after 3 to 4 games, a lot of players or a lot of fans thought that Salah looks good, but he looks a bit wasteful. Listen, if he wants to do what he done last season and start the same this season that way and go on to do what he done, I'm all for it. I'm not going to argue with the chap.
But he's still got 2 goals and assists in 4 games.
He still has two goals and a couple of assists.
Just comparing it to his high standards, that's the only thing.
I'm just asking the question because you're getting a few people online saying, all this stuff during the week is affecting him and he didn't look at his best.
But if we go back to last season, do you remember at the start he missed quite a few chances in the first few games as well? We thought he gets into a lot of great positions, but his finishing, we doubted his finishing. Do you remember he was getting into a lot of positions and missing a lot of chances? But the fact that he's making these chances and still has that positional awareness and sense and even though we're saying he's not even at 75%. It bodes well. I think the forwards are slowly getting better. For that first 20 minutes, I think it was our best performance attacking wise from the front 3. So I think it's coming together nicely.
Okay. Moving on. Matt, I'll come back to you. We go 1-0 up, and it was great to see that when you're on top, you take advantage, especially away from home against the Leicester side. That if you give them any sort of encouragement, they take it, and our fans have these mad fan clap fucking things that they're allowed into the ground with. It's crazy, isn't it? You're not allowed into most grounds with the top off a bottle, but you can come in with this fan fucking thing that you wave around and they all sound, it's all mental. But they do,
it's a piece of paper, Gav.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's a weapon, there's a handle to it. If there's a handle on it, it's a weapon, as far as I'm concerned. Alright?
That's just because you're so small. Whenever someone whacks them, it hits you on the head.
Anyway, listen, I'm writing to Leicester and I'm writing to the FA and I'm not fucking having it, alright? But in the first 15 minutes that we were good, we take advantage. Sadio Mane scores. But Matt, I want to talk about Andy Robertson because for a guy that, looking over his first year at Liverpool, you know, has progressed ridiculously. Yesterday, I love the way he goes past him and he just clears him out and says, "Could you ever get the fuck out of my way of things to be doing here?" Brilliant assist yet again, and probably that's his second or third assist, I think, for the season. How good is he, Matt? And can he get even better?
I don't know. I don't care if he wants to stay as he is now. I'm happy. The best thing about Robbo is it's not these great bits of his play. His overall play for the last 9 months have just been so consistent, and it's brilliant. How long has it been since we've had a left back where you can just trust? You just know, even if like he makes a mistake, you know, no one's really getting past him back in the other half. You see him in the game as well, and he's getting up. He loves to attack, and you think, all right, we've got someone who loves to attack. It's great to have enough out on the so to be able to break down defences. But he's the furthest player forward, and then next minute he's right back next to VVD again, making a tackle. And you don't know how he's done it. He's just, I personally think he's absolutely loving life at Liverpool. He's so happy and he's so confident, and now he's got VVD just talking him through his games. It's perfect. It's the perfect environment for him to grow and become one of the best, if not already the best left back in the country, because that's where he is. We're not talking about moments of genius here. He's just consistent 8 or more every single game, assists, defending, the whole lot. When we bought him, I mean, obviously I hadn't watched too much of him, but I was like, he might be all right. Like, I wasn't excited. It wasn't a transfer that got anyone excited. But right now, he's probably in the top 3 of most people's favourite players.
Yeah, I think he's the best left back in the league. And I said this last week, because Mendy is hailed as this fucking outrageous left back that's brilliant, and he's played 13 games in the league for Man City, or 13 games, so it's ridiculous. I think he's as good going forward, and I think he's better going backwards. Mendy was exposed yesterday for the Newcastle goal that they scored because he was slow on the turn and didn't. Yedlin is hard to keep up with, let's be honest. But Robertson is outrageous. Marty, just a quick word on Robertson. When this front three is being, kind of chaperoned around the pitch by defenders and they're trying to do their best to contain them, he's some outlet to have, isn't he? Where he's another man there that can overlap, can get in behind you, can create, because he is creating. His assists rate, he's not going 10 games without an assist anymore. He's assisting every 2-3 games now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you've had Alberto Moreno playing for the past couple of seasons, he kind of really...
Careful, that's Matt's favourite.
Really,
one of Matt's
Kick him off, Gav. Kick him off.
Bloody hell. Right, he's... he emphasises just how good Robertson is, and it's more about the quality of delivery. Anyone can bomb down a wing and aimlessly bang a ball into the box, and it'll either go too deep, hit the first man, etc. But his ball is near enough perfect every single time he delivers it, and he's always finding somebody. I mean, like you said, he's already got 2 assists, not 3 this season. But Matt covered it. It's going back as well. A lot of fullbacks are judged in recent times on how good they are going forward. And then you look at them going back, and they're a shambles. But because they deliver a good ball, or they can hit one from 40 yards, they're brilliant. But with Robert, he doesn't do anything fancy, no flicks, no tricks. He's just super Mr. Steady, and he does the job that we need to. And obviously, he's got Van Dijk next to him, which you put anyone next to Van Dijk, and they're gonna excel and they're gonna get better. And I think he's brilliant. He's been an absolute revelation. I completely agree. Nobody was bothered when he signed. If anything, I think everyone was getting hyped up with the rumours that we were interested in Mendy, which is never going to happen. then this young Scottish lad comes in for 8 million from Hull, and everyone's like, "Oh, here we go again." You know, low ball, money ball, etc. He's been awesome. I wouldn't take him. I wouldn't take anyone over him.
Matt's very upset now.
FSG and Moreno, me and Marcy are going to fall out.
No, you won't. I'm going to back Marty on this, because I think he's right, especially on Moreno. Fucking hell. He's an absolute cabbage.
He's shot.
Grizz, there's loads of stuff coming in here about Henderson, right, that I'm going to get to, because Henderson and Alisson are probably the two biggest talking points of this game individually. But we're in control of this, Grizz. We're going fine, and there's one moment in the game where we're a little bit lax, and we seem to lose everything for about 10-15 minutes, and that's the ball breaks in midfield. When Wijnaldum tries to play it back, I think it's to Gomez or Van Dijk, he's a little bit lax, he underhits it, they break, they get a chance, and we seem to lose it just a little bit. Were you concerned as that game went on that, you know, lads, listen, we've been on top here, we've been well on top for 25, don't let this slip now, you know, don't let this, all the good work and the goal, you know, be for nothing because of it. And it was literally just one straight pass, Chris. You know, it was one player being way too comfortable.
Are you talking about the before we scored the second goal? Are we still in?
Yeah. Before we scored the second goal, when Adam's in the middle of the park, he underhits a pass to Gomez. I think Maddison gets on it. It was either Maddison or Demarai Gray. And they break. I think it's Maddison or Gray that ends up with a chance. And we seem to just lose our way for 10-15 minutes. Were you a little bit concerned then?
Overall, no. But I was concerned with the sort of unbalanced midfield. I mean, overall, I thought we would overcome any sort of bad patches of 5 minutes here and there, because that happens in any game. But what I was concerned was with the unbalance in midfield, which was causing, in my opinion, some of these bloody straight passes and some of the positions Gini was taking up, sort of alongside Hendo with Milner, sort of was confusing a bit.
Sorry, Chris, can I ask you, right? When Adams played the deepest of the three for 3 games on the trot and looked exceptional, right? And we stick him in this midfield ahead of a deep line midfielder, and again he looked a bit lost, and he caught in between positions. We spoke about this a week or two ago. Is it a case now where Wijnaldum either plays the deepest or he doesn't play at all?
Yeah, See, I personally agree with that. I mean, some people would say now Gini's best position, or has been, sort of going back to Newcastle, is getting into the box and sort of making late runs. I really think he's been outstanding in the first 3 games at that number 6. And even though I wasn't surprised with Hendo coming in, I was surprised that he moved Gini from that number 6 at the expense of Hendo. Look, as you said, we're going to get to Henderson and sort of the uproar. As Matt says, you either love him, you overpraise him, or you absolutely hate him and you make video compilations of his every back pass. So there's no in between. There's no in between. There's no in between with Henderson and Liverpool fans, it seems. But look, if anyone's to blame for that situation, it's Klopp. I mean, surely it was his decision to bring back Hendo and move Gini and sort of unbalance that midfield.
As well, it wasn't like the other two were amazing, or the whole team's amazing, and Hendo let us down. Hendo just played at the level that the team was playing at. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't.
Yeah, I think Milner was the best out of the bad bunch out of the midfield. I think Gini was just as bad as Henderson.
I'm just going to give them all a 6. That's all. That's it. Give them all a 6.
Yeah. It was a first game back type performance, wasn't it, Matt? I mean, you know, that's what you expect as a first game back, full game away at Leicester, not the easiest game. You know, as I said, they've probably got 2 of the hardest working centre mids who I knew going to have energy for 90 minutes, Ndidi and Mendy. And they looked fitter than us and sort of hungry in that midfield. And that's all it was.
Yeah.
We were fine.
You see, I think Matt's right. I think it's just a 6 all round. You know, but I was surprised that Henderson comes in for Wijnaldum. I probably would have went for Keita. I probably would have went if he's coming in. He comes in from Wijnaldum. You do a straight swap at deep line midfield. And you see, because Keita, Alright, he wasn't great against Brighton, but he finds space all the time. And if you watch that game yesterday, our midfield three are moving around and they're rotating, but nobody's finding space to hurt Leicester in that period. Do you get me?
I think for the first time in a long time, because we've got the luxury of it now, Klopp is thinking ahead. I think the amount we're going to need Keita from Christmas onwards.
It's blocks of games, Matt, isn't it?
Yeah, he's thinking ahead. We've got what? We've got 7 games in the next 24 days, is it, or something stupid? We've got something stupid coming up anyway, and I think he's thinking about that. Bringing in Henderson for Keita against Leicester City, it's not the end of the world. It's all right, and we won. We controlled the game. They didn't break through as much. We got over the line. We've done exactly what we needed to do, so it was the right decision.
Yeah. Leicester get into the game, Marty. They push us a little bit. Alisson makes a good save down low, as I've already touched on. I'm nearly sure it's from Demarai Gray. They have a few scrambles around the box, but overall we look comfortable. And then we do what we done against West Ham on the opening day of the season, and we make it to late in the first half. It's a good chance for Salah that Schmeichel palms away. A corner comes in, and it goes out again for another corner. And then Firmino loses his man, and it's a great header. How happy you to see him, Marty, get off the mark now and get moving and get motoring?
Yeah, Bobby needed that goal. He really needed that goal. I think the problem for Firmino is he same with Salah, is he set such a high benchmark for himself that when he does have this little lull, and it's a lull in his standards. I personally don't see how bad he's been, but he hadn't scored 4th game. He got that goal, and he just looked like a weight came off of him. I think when Bobby ticks, the team tick. You know, he sets the press. You know, he's in the number 9, and all of a sudden he's where you'd find a number 6. He's awesome. I think just by getting the goals as well, you know, we scored at the exact right times. The amount of times you hear someone say, you know, a team's on top, but they need the goal. You know, we got the early goal, and then we landed what turned out to be the killer blow just before half time. I think it was perfect. I think we took our chances when we needed to, and I was delighted for Bobby. I really, really was, and hopefully now, that lifts that weight, and he can start bagging in a few more. I think, you know, this season's a big season for Bobby. I think he's gonna, you know, really, really excel this season. I think he's going to get a lot of goals, and yeah.
Okay, Grizz, Firmino, 4th goal of the season, great header, puts us 2-0 up and puts us in more or less total control of the game. As you're sitting there at half time, you're thinking, yeah, one more seals it and puts them properly to bed.
Yeah, no, even at 2-0, I thought that's it, the killer goal. I mean, our defensive solidity of recent times is such that, you know, 2-goal lead we very rarely let slip now. And there was a Sky Sports caption up, sort of how many times we lose from scoring the first goal, and I think it's hardly ever or something like that. I can't remember now. But look, our timing of the goal, just like against Palace when we got the penalty with Salah just before half time, it sort of just gives you that extra boost. I mean, as I said, that first 20 minutes was sort of the best interplay with the front three I've seen so far. I know we beat West Ham 4 or something, but this was that first 20 minutes against Leicester was something remotely resembling last season's attack, so which was good. As Marty says, I never had an issue with Bobby not scoring in the opening 3 games. I just think Bobby's phenomenal. I just think Bobby's, as he says, when Bobby plays well, Liverpool play well. End of story.
He just got back from 5 weeks on the AL, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's
Bobby doesn't kick off until November.
Was he with you on it?
We should have 9 weeks.
Yeah, he was on the boat with me.
He was with you.
He was, isn't it?
Yeah. No, Bobby doesn't really get cracking until about mid-end of October. You saw it last season with Steve-O giving it the big one when Morata got a goal and Bobby didn't have too many. And then Bobby comes back and just ruins him for the rest of the season. Yeah. So yeah, the thing with attacking is, with our attacking players, it's not like defending when you know you can. It's kind of like defending's like systematic, where attacking is.
Like defending, yeah. What? That's a good point. There, go on.
No, the defending's systematic, and you can just learn where to be, and you just know if people are going to be there. Whereas attacking, it's more you need to click with the people around you. You need to be on the same level as them. Whereas you make a run, they need to know you're making that run to make the pass, and that doesn't come straight away or through training. That comes through matches, and that's our forwards last season proper got going about October, and it's probably going to be the same again this season. The only difference is we've now got Alisson and Van Dijk, and we can get through these games, winning ugly, winning against like Leicester, or winning the week before, not playing amazing.
You made a great point about that, about matches, in terms of that's how the attack's going to sort of find their rhythm. And that's why I was arguing. Do you remember in the WhatsApp group I was arguing about I want Keita to be playing in this game? Is Keita going away international duty? Does anyone know?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't, like, if they're playing, not playing for Liverpool, I don't pay attention.
I've told you why he's out. He's getting rested for the rest of the season. I've already given you that information.
As I said, I want Keita to sort of play as much as he can with this front three of ours and sort of get in sync with him. Even though he's shown individual brilliance on the ball at times, I do think he's not in sync with the rest of the attack, which is totally understandable. The lads played 3-4 games only. That's why I wanted him to play every game in this first batch of 4, and then sort of, we can start the rotation as the big games kick in.
But you've seen with last season. Look at Ox, look at Robbo. Just getting players to play games isn't always the best technique. We all doubted last season why Klopp wasn't playing Robbo and why he wasn't playing Ox, and look how it turned out. It turned out brilliantly.
It's not, but again,
but when you're coaching as well, sometimes if you're on the field, you don't see what you got to do. That's why a lot of golfers will film themselves, or a lot of boxers will film themselves, taking yourself out of that situation, sitting on the sideline and watching the other midfielders and how they work together and how the attackers move. If you take yourself out of the situation, you can get the whole picture a lot better. Whereas if you're in the game, you don't always pick it up. So he's probably, it's a guess, but he could have taken them out and say, look, this is the midfield from last season. Watch how they work.
Yeah, it's funny now because I know you video yourself most Friday nights and then watch it back and see how you.
I was going to say you watch yourself.
And you do improve. Like, for attempts at that Genie Wijnaldum song every Friday night are about 3 in the morning for a good 6 to 7 weeks. You got there in the end. Paulie Walnuts and Kev O'Sullivan are having a nice little chat on the chat box there. Just about, I think it's more or less about us being a bit casual. I agree with them. I think we were a bit casual. I think we found it a little bit too easy at times, and that's what led to most of. I don't think he had a lot of chance. I think he had one chance that Joe Gomez blocks, which I'm going to get to in a little while. I've loads of Joe Gomez.
David _LFC just tells us that he has got 2 games coming up for Guinea.
Okay, so most of them are away. It's the usual international bullshit.
Cheers for that, David.
Yeah, but apart from that block from Joe Gomez and obviously the goal, I don't think Leicester do a hell of a lot. There's a couple of scrambles around the box that doesn't fall for them, but that can happen in any game, whether you're in control or not. The second half goes, I don't think much happens in it until the goal. I think Leicester are taking their 2-0, if that's what it's going to be, in my opinion, and then they get let back into it. Now, I want to touch on something here, right, because I didn't get involved yesterday. I replied to a tweet yesterday where somebody who claimed that there wasn't an agenda against Jordan Henderson went and found a clip of Jordan Henderson to put up in isolation on Twitter and said, watch him put his 2 centre-halves into trouble on 2 occasions, without realising that the 2 players that gave him the fucking ball put him into danger at the same time, and again without realising that this is the way Liverpool play football. We don't hit it long, we try play it, we try move it, we try, manipulate teams into the way we do things. And it was the lead up to the goal. Gomez gives it to him. He gets it back. He gets it back off Gomez. He plays to Van Dijk, and this is where the problem is. This goal has nothing to do with Jordan Henderson, Joe Gomez, or fucking anybody. It's to do with A, Virgil van Dijk being too casual with a back pass, and B, Alisson, instead of getting rid of it and just saying, okay, I can't do this shit all the time, he gets caught, and we can see the goal. Marty, I am of the opinion that what happened to Alisson Becker yesterday, okay, is a good thing for us because he's had to take his medicine yesterday. It hasn't cost us any points, and it's just...
Marty, Gav will say all the good points here. He won't ask a single question.
This is my opinion on it, right? This is my opinion. He's made a mistake yesterday. He's learned from it. We haven't dropped any points from it. And he'll move on. Marty, the question I'm going to ask you is, Marty, do you see him adjusting his game in any way because of yesterday, or will he continue on the way he is?
Possibly a very minuscule chat. I don't think he should. I don't think he should. I mean, but don't get me wrong. When you're being closed out, you've got a simple long ball into the channel and you try and Cruyff turn someone. You can't keep doing that. I think Klopp was in a bit of a difficult one last week against Brighton. Obviously, Alisson chipped it over. I think it was Glenn Murray. And everyone in the stadium on Twitter was like, fucking amazing. He just chipped away. And Klopp said, I didn't like that. But the problem he had at the time is if Alisson was full of confidence, and let's not forget that one mistake was his first mistake leading to a goal in 50 games. This isn't, it was a rare occurrence. Yeah, he's a bit risky. If Klopp had gone to him after the Brighton game and said, look, you got to stop that. A, it would have completely defeated the object of signing Alisson in the first place. And B, you run the risk of denting his confidence, which, if anything, is just absolutely brimming at the time. So I think the only amendment you can make to Alisson's game is trying to teach him there's a time and a place to play with the ball. Now, I think you can nip the extravagant tricks like a Cruyff turn in the bud. I don't think that's necessary. But if you then start asking Alisson to lump balls 80 yards down the field, you might as well have not signed him. When you sign someone like Alisson, specifically Alisson, you know you're going to be getting somebody that will play with the ball at their feet, give you the occasional heart attack, but 9 times out of 10, he'll either distribute a 60-yard ball to someone's feet or he'll send an attacker packing. It's one of those things. I don't think he needs to change. I think he just needs to learn time and a place to play the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, what's your feeling on it? Especially after what happened yesterday, what's your feelings on what he does going forward?
I don't blame him. I think he was concussed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He didn't get that. He needs to go and get himself a Dr. Dre fucking sick now, doesn't he?
Yeah, I want to see a compilation video in LA now.
Yeah.
I don't really have a problem with it because it's what he does. It's why it's part of him. It's ingrained in him. It's why he's such a confident bastard. Now there is different levels. What he done then was that is, for me, it's a step too far. Like, if he's going to do it, it won't be too bad. He'll get it right more than he gets it wrong, and from the back end of it, like Marty said, we'll get a lot more positive out of it than the one little negative we'll get every so often. But that it was a bit fucking mental doing that there, wasn't it?
You see, I think if the fullback gets out into a position, I think he plays the fullback. I think he tries to play it.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at so many different areas of it. The ball that came back to him, it wasn't the best. Gomez didn't move out wide. There's loads of things you look at. A lot of people will say, just get fucking rid. And looking back, that is the right thing to do. But I'm not going to hold it against him because he's a confident fucker, and that's what confident fuckers do. And that's why he's such a good keeper, because he'll come out and collect crosses that we never used to get keepers doing. He'll charge players down, which we never used to have people doing. He'll put in 60-yard, like Marty said, putting 60-yard balls to the rampaging fullback, which we're not used to having. So all these positives for the odd little bit of shit, it's going to happen. I'm happy with it. He plays into Klopp's football. He adds to our attack. No, I haven't got an issue with him.
No, Grizz.
And he was fouled. He was fouled as well.
Wasn't a foul.
That's because your mate Simon Brundage told you to say that. You know me, I'm not afraid to name anyone on this. You know what I mean? Don't use Simon Brundage's fucking argument with me.
Quite a lot of people point it out.
Yeah? Who like you?
I'll show you.
Yeah? When?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Come on. Find them.
No, I can't get it up on here.
Oh, alright, okay. Grizz, 2 questions. 1, do you wash your hair with shampoo or body wash? That was a question that came in. And 2, Alisson Becker, should he continue to chip balls over the attackers and do all sorts of mad stuff, or should he just at times just fucking kick it as far as he can?
The first question interests me far more. because it's actually. I wanted to ask someone that actually because generally I use shampoo, but if it's not available, then you just use body wash. Or am I the only one
Links
who
after
does that?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Just play on, but it doesn't help my dandruff. I've got a really serious dandruff issue. But mad. Even in my beard. So it's another topic for another day.
That's crisps, Chris. Not dandruff.
The Alisson, look, I genuinely believe that was another brilliant thing that happened to us at this stage of the season and didn't cost us. I think it's brilliant that's happened because the media's sort of got the mistake out of him because everyone's waiting for that mistake from Alisson. We talked about it in the previous weeks that he's going to get caught and it's going to be a big hoo-ha because that's the way he plays. But I genuinely think the way it's happened and the fact that he hasn't cost us any points, he's got it out of the way, it won't happen again. He's a very, very intelligent keeper.
It will happen again. Are you fucking kidding?
It won't happen again. I guarantee. For the rest of the season, he will not make an individual error of that level.
It's only a problem. It's only a problem if he makes an error and we drop points because of it.
I'll tell you why. Because
wait. I agree with Chris. I don't think he'll make the error, but he'll try that skill again.
No, he'll do it, but he'll pick and choose his moments. Look, I don't think he's used to that type of attackers pressing him in Italy. Because the strikers in Italy just don't work as hard as your average striker in the Premiership. Every striker in the Premiership will, Barca or Aubameyang, will press that keeper, chase it down, pressure you. So I just don't. And I think he thought he could get away with it every time. He thought most bloody strikers are dumb here. I'll just chip it over and do Johan Cruyff turns on them. But he's got caught out. The media have given him a bit of a lashing. Deservedly so, because as Marty says, you just don't do that in that area of the pitch. You just lump it away. I think it was the absolute blessing in disguise, and he will absolutely learn from it. I mean, he'll do it, but he'll choose his moments, and he'll know when to do it. There's a time and a place for it, and that wasn't it, definitely.
Okay, so basically what you're telling me is he won't do it, but he will do it, and he'll pick his time when he's going to do it.
No, that's not what I'm telling you. I'm telling
Grizzy, I was listening.
I'm telling you.
He's tied himself in knots here, isn't he? He doesn't know how to get out of it.
You're pulling your hair out.
He's busy looking for a tweet that didn't exist. Listen to me, and I'll tell you, and you'll understand. I said he won't fuck up like that again. He will carry on playing his game, but he'll play a bit more percentages.
Okay. You don't think he'll make another error leading to a goal? Or another error leading to a clear-cut chance?
Not an unforced error. Hope you know what that is.
Okay.
But that wasn't unforced. Iheanacho was right on him.
I know, but it was unforced. No, he didn't need to. I've said it. Wait, is your internet?
Go on, he's confused himself. Let's move on.
I'm confused now.
He will not cock up. He will not cock up again.
I don't know. Am I meant to be backing Alisson here, or am I against him? I don't even know which side I'm on.
You're carry as fuck. Of course you are. You're bittersweet happy. I know you.
He's booked 2 weeks.
Carry a start for Besiktas tonight, by the way.
He's booked 2 weeks to Turkey. He has as a holiday. He needs a holiday now. Marty, I just before we're going to finish off with the game because look, we've all give our feelings on our overall feelings. Different players. I want to touch on 2 players before we leave. One quickly, and the second one not so quickly because he was in my opinion man of the match. Slowly. Marty, I'll come to you first. Xherdan Shaqiri comes onto the pitch as a substitute, and a lot of people have said, he's an impact player, and when you're on top, he's good. He doesn't do. I thought he was excellent when he came on. He gets us up the pitch. He wins his throws. He wins his corners. I thought. It was a different type of impact, but it was one you'd like to see, isn't it, as we go forward?
Yeah, I think the Shaqiri substitution highlights how good our squad's got and how good Klopp's substitutions are becoming. I think one thing we used to criticise Klopp for is his subs last season were a bit, sometimes pointless, sometimes a bit off. And when Shaqiri came on, yeah, I agree. I thought he was awesome. He done a job. He worked the channels well. He worked the fullback well. He was picking the ball up, winning throw-ins, winning fouls, winning corners, and he done exactly what we needed at the time. at that specific moment in time, we'd obviously just conceded the goal. We were under the cosh to a certain extent. We weren't really having our goal bombarded, but we weren't getting much possession. We looked a bit leggy. He came on. I thought he was brilliant. He wasn't necessarily a goal threat, but he did the job that Liverpool required of him at that time, and that was just to add some energy, pin the fullback in Chilwell back because he was getting forward a lot. I think Trent at the time was obviously was struggling a little bit. I don't think Salah was tracking back too much, and he was just he'd done the job that he needed, and he was paramount to us getting the job done. I think so. Yeah, really happy with his cameo.
Matt, just on Shaqiri, do you see him having more of an impact and getting more game time when we come back from international duty on the likes of our next three is Spurs away, Southampton home, Chelsea away, and then I think it's City at home. I think that's our next four. Do you see him getting more game time, or do you still see him coming on with those 20-25 minutes and not many starts?
Yeah, I think Klopp mainly plays our front three. Is what he likes to do. We saw it last season. I know we've got a lot more options this season, but Klopp likes to stick with pretty much the same team most weeks. I think he'll come on a lot more. He might get more than 25 minutes. He might get a bit longer. Maybe a Southampton. I'd like to see him get at least a half and give someone a rest. But yeah, I don't think he'll be starting any of the big ones. Not at all. He's a great player though. Great player on the bench. I'm absolutely made up, and I'd be happy with him starting. I have no issues at all.
Yeah, I think in certain games he can start, especially if you want to, especially after the international break. It's just the way these games fall after the international break. If you had Southampton first, you could say, lads, you're on international break. I'm going to give one of you a week off. I'm going to put Shaqiri in there. But because it's Spurs and then you have Southampton, Chelsea, I think we might need to stick as we are more or less for the moment. Grizz, I'm going to let you have first shout on this player because, I'm going to let you have it because you waxed lyrical about him yesterday. Joe Gomez, that is his best performance in a Liverpool jersey. True or false?
Absolutely true. Fact, as our good mate Ian would say. Big Joe Gomez was by far the best centre back out of the 2 years today. I think, and I truly believe this. I've got to stick for it, but I think VVD, that was probably one of his poorest performances. But his bench, he set such a high benchmark for himself. He actually won loads of sort of balls in the air, but I thought his general play was a bit lazy. Big Joe Gomez was superb. His reading of the game has gone up such a level. His positional play. The guy's been a revelation, Gav. Everyone was worried about our strength in centre-back areas, especially with the injury and error-prone Lovren and Matip. Klavan, obviously, pasture's new. But I think this lad has really stepped up and made that position his own. For me, he's been the outstanding performer in the first opening 4 games. And long may it continue. He's totally proved me wrong. I had my doubts about him. I think you did as well. In terms of has he got a future? No one cares about you. Has he got a future at centre back, long term? And if he carries on the way he is, the guy's got a great future. And I hold my hands up, and he's proved me totally wrong.
Okay, Marty. I watched Match of the Day last night, and I think it was Martin Keown done a 2-minute segment on Joe Gomez, and he just kept saying, look at how he glides across the ground, look at his pace, and in 5 of the 6 clips he never used his pace because it was just mental. But for you, is that the best performance you've seen from Joe Gomez in a Liverpool shirt?
Yeah, by a country mile. I think the biggest compliment I could give him is that that's the first performance we've had post Virgil van Dijk that the other centre back next to VVD has actually guided him through a game. Like I said, against normal centre backs. Yeah, I mean, like we said, as most centre backs go, Van Dijk probably had a pretty good game, but his standards, he was really rash. He lunged in a lot, got himself booked. In games gone by, you have Lovren, Matip, etc. next to him. their heads go too. You know, they're like, it's almost as if they go, shit, Van Dijk's head's gone. What do I do? What do I do? In Gomez, took that game, took that defence by the scruff of the neck, and he was absolutely awesome. He didn't put a foot wrong. You know, that tackle, I mean, let's be honest, that block from Leicester's only chance, if Virgil van Dijk had made that, or even you're talking, you know, a Varane, someone of that ilk, made that block, it'd be everywhere. It'd be absolutely everywhere. He was brilliant. And I think, you know, I don't think that's anything to do with Van Dijk. I think he is just a very, very good defender. He's been played out of position. You know, he was played left back under Rodgers. He's been played right back under Klopp. And he's finally got his chance. And he said, you know, to Klopp, to everyone else, this is where I play. This is how good I am. And I think he's only going to get better. I think he was absolutely outstanding yesterday.
Yeah. Someone just said there, right, I'm not asking enough questions. That's coming up on the chat. And then someone from the Day Tripper said I'm a prick. Spot on. Absolutely nailed it.
It wasn't me.
But no, to be honest with you, I don't read out all the names and stuff like that, because most of the time they come up on the screen and they disappear straight after. So I'm trying to take a mental note of different things you're talking about and trying to bring them into the questions here. But Paul Shirley on YouTube made that point. So that's Paul. That's actually what's happening. The comments are just disappearing very, very fast.
He's slipping, Paul. He's
I'm
a prick.
slipping. I know it was Matt that called me the prick, and I'll remove him from any Trippers fucking work from here on in.
Well, here we are then, Gav. Nicky has just asked the question, do we think Gomez has done enough to keep Lovren out?
Yes.
I will go for that.
Yes.
At the moment, it would be harsh to replace him. And I think Joe Gomez's performances now are about equal with what Lovren's were at the end of last season. So, whichever way it went, I wouldn't be... Yeah. I'll hear me out. Right now, I wouldn't be too bothered, but I think Joe Gomez has a much higher ceiling. So, if we can keep him next to VVD and help him develop, I think it'll be beneficial to keep him in over Lovren.
Yeah. I'm of the opinion that if you're playing well and you have the place in the team and you're on form, I don't see why you come out. Lovren is injured at the minute, and when Lovren comes back, going by Klopp's logic, he's going to need 3 or 4 weeks on top of his return date to get back in the side, which are looking at probably the end of September, start of October. If Gomez plays 7, 8, 9 out of 10 games, why would you move him? Marty, would you say he's done enough to stay in the team? Presuming he stays in this level of performance, I suppose. Yeah,
100%. I personally just think he's got too many accidents waiting to happen. But one interesting point I think with Gomez and Van Dijk is, I don't know if many people watched the videos, the PR things that have been coming out of the club recently on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc. You notice behind the scenes as well, they talk about the group, how close they are, you know, how they, you know, and you can see that, you know, it's just a really good vibe. There was an interview with Van Dijk a couple of days ago talking about since he's moved to the club. And the one person he speaks about that he gets on really well with outside of obviously training, etc., is Joe Gomez. And I think when you look at good centre-back partnerships, you know, you've got to have that. I think if you have a relationship off the pitch, it can only be good moving forward. And I know, you know, you see Lovren's with Salah, etc. I don't think we've had that centre-back partnership that, you know, bounce on the pitch and off the pitch. And I think you got to keep it. I think what if it isn't broke, don't fix it. It'd be absolutely silly to take Gomez out unless he has a, you know, huge decline in form or whatever. But I can't see it, so I'd keep it as it is.
Grace, you haven't been the biggest fan of Joe Gomez, and that's a known fact. Even amongst,
because he's fucking clueless.
Even amongst the 875 people you blocked on Twitter, but then we undone it because you lost the bet. For you, so you're probably the most impartial in all this.
Absolutely, always.
Joe Gomez if Joe Gomez plays the next 4 to 5 league games at the level that he's at the moment, does he keep Lovren out of the team when Lovren is fit?
Absolutely, he does. I'm going to have to agree with Matt, unfortunately, in terms of he's got a higher ceiling and want to get better and better and better. I think Lovren played at his best near the end of last season, and that's his peak. And we're still talking sort of an error every 7-8 games, maybe. If Big Gomez carries on the progression he's making, He's definitely, in my opinion, the number one centre back at the moment. But saying that, it's great to have strength and depth in terms of, as we were talking about, should Gini really been taken out of the team after playing so well? Yet Henderson and Fabinho, no doubt, after the break, is ready to step in. It's good to know that we finally got sort of a World Cup final, isn't it? World Cup finalists and a Champions League finalist in Lovren, who's sort of still confident and played well at the end of the season, ready to step in, and it's perfect for Joe. Sort of just learning alongside VVD and progressing as a player. I think he's nailed that. But as Matt says, I think there will be a bit of rotation come sort of in the next sort of 10 games. There will be a bit of rotation once Lovren's back up and running, especially in the cup games.
Okay. Someone just asked a question there, because I might as well. I can't even read the name. It's fucking that small on my screen. It's gone again. But he said, if Van Dijk was to be rested or injured, would everyone be confident in Joe Gomez, Dejan Lovren centre-half partnership? Just a yes or no. Just a yes or no.
No.
No? Matt?
Not at all.
No. Grizz?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be too bad with it either.
I think we're playing at such a level, and in
Told
terms
you,
of
Marty, he's fucking clueless.
in terms of having Alisson behind them and the sort of the structure we've got in midfield, the way it's being protected. So you got to remember, we're praising our centre backs, but the way they're being protected, especially with our midfield and a goalkeeper as well, I think plays a massive part. I genuinely think I think every player knows his role now in the squad and team. So yes, of course, Virgil van Dijk is the centre back, is the Colossus. But funny enough, we weren't that bad defensively.
I just said yes or no. I just said give us a yes or no.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Hang on, what are they going into then?
Massive
We weren't
dollop
that
of,
bad.
massive dollop of context.
I can't even remember the question.
No, either can I.
What was the question?
He's about to drop into 1989 Liverpool's
Yeah,
cup run.
yeah.
Right, no, genuinely, what was the question?
Doesn't matter, Grace. We'll get back to it. Doesn't matter. Leave it. Listen, man of the match.
Big up Gomez, that's what I'm saying. Big up Gomez.
There's a few people calling him Gomez now, which is a little bit worrying, because Grace is going to claim that this was his. He gave birth to this Gomez thing. But man of the match, any advances on Joe Gomez? Grizz?
No.
Matt?
Hendo.
Oh, yes, of course it is. And Marty, any advance on Joe Gomez?
No.
No, okay. Lads, I want you to pick me a team, presuming that we are all fit and well coming back from the international break. Away to Spurs, 12:30 on the Saturday. I'd like you to pick me a team. Marty, I'll let you go first. Pick a team.
Same as Leicester, but I'd swap Keita back for Hendo.
Okay, so you go back to the original three that we had at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Okay. Matt, pick us a team.
Karius, Trent.
Bueno.
Nah, yeah, I'm going to stick pretty much. No, I'm not actually. Centre backs same, right back same, left back same, keeper same, and then it's going to be about December, and I'm going to go Fabinho, Keita.
What are you talking about December? You said the Spurs.
Genie, if everyone's fit.
Okay,
And
have we moved the Spurs game to December?
Yeah, that's the way game.
Just made a call on it. Listen, lads, move that.
I just wanted to make the point that Fabinho's had training and he's up and ready to go.
Yes.
Like, not just talking injury fitness, are we talking everyone's flying?
Everyone's fit. Everyone's good. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going Fabinho, Keita, and Genie.
Okay. Grizz, front three is normal, Matt, I presume. Yeah, Grizz, give us your team.
What's the question, Gav? Because Matt's confused me.
Pick a fucking team for Spurs away on
For Spurs
12:30
away.
on Saturday week.
Same team, except, same like Marty. Gini for Hendo.
Okay.
If that's what Marty said, I'm not sure if he said that.
Okay, I will go. I'd keep Henderson in. I'd go with Milner and I'd go with Keita. Keita will be key, especially if they play Eric Dyer at the base of midfield. Keita has to play. He has to play twice. As far as I'm concerned, but it should be good. Last question, lads, before we go, because we're just on the hour now, and it's about 4 in the morning where Matt is. The maddest thing you've ever seen on a football pitch. Now, it can be, personally, you were there, it could be anything, but something there you see in the football pitch and you went, fucking hell, what is going on there? I seen one earlier, a fella from Partick Thistle scored a goal where they hit the bar, went down, hit the net, and came back out, and the referee gave a throw in after consulting the linesman. Got on the street, got onto Twitter and type in Partick Thistle goal, and you'll find it. But just something on the pitch.
Well, it wasn't a goal.
Or it was a goal, but after the ball goes in the net, both teams, one team celebrates, the other team are like, oh fuck, we're at the conceding. And next thing, everyone's looking around, both teams are looking around. Ref goes to the linesman says something to him, and the ref gives a throw. Go and watch it, it's ridiculous. But the maddest thing you've seen on a pitch, it could be just, a match of the day, it could be anything you want. Anyone got any shouts? I'll go first and while you're thinking. Lee Bowyer and Kieran Dyer knocking the bollocks out of each other was unfucking believable. When that broke on, I think it was on Soccer Saturday, and then we were all waiting to see the footage and the whole lot, and Lee Bowyer's coming off and he's nearly naked. He's no clothes left on him. Dyer absolutely rips him asunder. That was just watching that going, what in the name of God is happening here?
Sander Vesterveld and Carragher done something similar, didn't they, in the Merseyside derby?
No,
was it
Vesterveld and Franny Jeffers.
No, was it? Yeah, it was Jeffers.
Vesterveld and who?
Jeffers.
Franny Jeffers. Do you remember? The one who went to Arsenal.
Yeah.
You're thinking,
Nah,
are you thinking of Grobbelaar and McManaman?
No, he's not, but you've given him a good out there. Yeah, he'll take it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one, Gav.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah.
Do you remember that video going around last season? And the bear's playing football, and a tampon comes out, and the physio's going to come on with the bag.
Yeah. That was
funny.
mental. And everyone was it was like, I don't know, the tampon had special powers because everyone was afraid to go near it. It's like, I just thought, if you don't look at it, it doesn't exist.
They are scary. They are scary.
It was bad, yeah. It depends what time of the week, how scary they are. But anyway,
you got that horrible picture where Scholes slides in and his knob falls out. That's pretty.
Oh yeah,
that's a pretty dirty one.
Gary Lineker having a shit as well.
Yeah.
But we didn't know at the time he's having a shit, did we?
Yeah, but you have a nerve to talk about shit and anybody else, Matt. Let's be perfectly honest about it.
Fair one.
Dante Simon says, when exactly does Fabinho start? Don't know. From what I can make out, he's just.
I think he starts getting game time after the international break because he won't be travelling, will he? So he'll have a lot more training, and he gets game time after the international break.
He's been selected.
He's in the Brazil squad.
Oh, is he?
So that's another one of your points, Dad.
Who did play him?
Another international team.
Partick Thistle.
Yeah, but
replay.
Yeah, but that Brazil call-up's weird because none of the City players have been called up either. So Bobby's going to be playing the games.
Pep's done a smart
Bobby's just going for the second team, aren't they?
Sorry, hold on. But Man City have had none of the players called up.
Nope.
Yeah, stink. No Edison, no Jesus, no Fernandinho. They're all at home.
On what grounds?
They're shitheads.
Oh, that's fucking outrageous.
Pep's the new Fergie. We need to. What needs to widen
up? There's nothing to do with that, lads. Don't be stupid. He's probably getting rid of the. It's only friendly, isn't he? He's probably giving the ones who didn't play in the World Cup a chance to see what they're made of.
Yeah. Okay. That Stephen Hackett.
Firmino didn't play first in the World Cup, did he?
No. Stephen Hackett says the Zidane headbutt quality.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, Gav's on it now, isn't he? Fucking hell.
Well, I'm afraid I'm afraid to go out on the screen. If we're here until all them questions are answered. I'm scrolling back through them now. How did you think we got on the first 10 minutes of the match, man? Fuck off. Come here. No, the Zidane one was mental, wasn't it? That was like, it was sad in a way, like his last game in football, and he does that. But absolute headbanger. I love him. But no, I think that's us, is it? Any other business that you'd like to bring up?
No.
No?
Nope.
Grizz, anything else?
Football-wise?
Anything.
Fuck off, Chris.
football, personal, the economy, Brexit. How do you feel about Brexit?
Nah, we're all right. I'm all right.
All right. Right, lads, that's been us. That's been the Fatback 4. We'll be back next Sunday. The Tuesday Club will be with you on Tuesday, obviously. It's in the name. Actually, that'll switch to Wednesday when the Champions League starts and we play on a Wednesday. But we'll probably call it the Tuesday Club just for the crack. You'll have the COD table on Friday. No, you won't. They mightn't be on this week because we've no game. But they made their debut on Periscope and YouTube, done really well last Friday. So keep an eye out for them. The Final Whistle was on yesterday. Really good podcast with Jamie and the lads. Go and check that out if you want another kind of immediate reaction show. Loads more to come. That's been us. Marty, Grizz, Matt, my old pal is back. Ian will be probably back with us next week. We'll have a discussion during the week and see what the crack is. But that's been us. That's been the Fatback 4. Have a good one. See you in a bit. Over and out.